Welcome back to the Yeah No Yeah podcast. We got a nice one for you today. The Dame Lillard effect is not over yet. Jrue Holiday traded from the Trailblazers to the Celtics. We got panic or patience for some NFL teams who are struggling a little bit. And we got our week 6 college football pick'ems. Let's go. All right, the first thing we got to talk about is in the NBA, Jrue Holiday traded to the Celtics. Does this feel like a smack in the face to Dame Lillard?
Kind of, a little bit. I think they were going for, as much value as they could get out of him as they could, and the Celtics are in a win or bust season, so they're sending over whatever they can to get him. I believe it was 2 first-round picks. Is that what they sent?
2 first-round picks.
Robert Williams, the third.
Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon.
Which, they didn't really use Malcolm Brogdon last season, so that's, whatever. Robert Williams was a good defender. He wasn't the best, but, he was there.
He's a nice rebounder, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know if it was a slap in the face. It was more of the Celtics they knew they needed to add more because of what happened with Dame going to the Bucks. But I could see how it would be a slap in the face. I'm not against that idea.
So like that's how I see this is I think they could have gotten more value from another team.
Really?
I really do. I think they wanted to trade Jrue Holiday to someone that could beat Dame Lillard. Prove that it's not always greener on the other side of the pasture.
Okay.
And so hear me out, okay?
Yeah.
This will be the Celtics projected lineup.
Yep.
Jrue Holiday. Jaylen Brown.
Just Jrue Holiday. That's it.
Just Jrue Holiday. Jaylen Brown at the 2. Jason Tatum at the 3. Porzingis at the 4 and Horford at the 5.
The 5 is really lacking. Horford's old.
He's getting old. He's getting up there. I think he's still got one more year in him as long as he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
But then I took a look at the bench.
Yeah.
It's a little rough. Derek White is pretty much the only name coming off the bench. They got Cormet, who?
Yeah, exactly.
Peyton Pritchard, who? And that's not where they're finding their strength. But I have a feeling that they'll be able to sign some, vet minimum players when the trade deadline rolls around in February that they might be able to pick up and snag and just hold on to the bench. Yeah. I think that's their plan.
Yeah, I agree. They're definitely relying heavily on their starters. And I saw a projected lineup that had Derek White in at the 2, shift Brown, Tatum, and Porzingis down, and have Horford 6-man. That was
I can see that one.
Yeah. Either way works. You're right. They really don't have a deep bench. And back to the whole Trailblazers sending Jrue Holiday slap in the face. It may have been, and if so, that's hilarious. But I think they got his value out of it. Having 2 first-round picks and 2 decent players, they're nothing. Brogdon's shown he can be decent. Robert Williams is a good backup center, starting center if you don't need him, whatever. So, yeah, I don't think they could have got much else from anywhere else. I'm happy they sent him to the East, just because you're right, it is kind of more dynamic, more interesting that way. But I don't know if it was a slap in the face. I don't think they could have gotten much more. Jrue Holiday's good, but he's not that good.
Yeah, I see him as like a top 25 player.
No.
When you combine his offensive playmaking skills, yes, he's not a shooter. Yes, he's not a driver, but he can play the point guard position how it was traditionally played, and he can defend really well.
Yeah.
You're not going to find a better perimeter defensive player. You can make an argument for Marcus Smart, but Jrue Holiday is one of the best. Yeah, and I think that's what the Celtics needed to go back to, because that's what they centered their playoff drive around, was their defensive abilities with Ime Udoka, and Joe Mazzulla is just not that guy. Yeah. He's not a defensive wizard like Udoka is. And I think you look at this from a Trailblazer standpoint, like, you're getting 2 first-round picks, yes. The problem is they're going to be at the end of the draft, at the end of the first round at each draft. Yeah. Like, the Celtics are not going to be in the lottery. They're not going to be in the top 20. They're going to be late first-round picks. Yes, you can find some value in there, but it's much harder, and they haven't had the most success drafting.
No, they have not.
So you got to take that into account, too.
That's fair. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm excited in the East, but speaking of the East, are Celtics your new favorite?
Celtics are absolutely my favorite.
Really?
I told you before, I didn't love the team in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been better with Middleton going to the Trailblazers for them, but I don't think that the Trailblazers wanted him. They wanted Jrue specifically for this type of trade. And I get it. I love the Celtics. They are a fantastic team now. And I think they needed that leadership with Jrue Holiday. And I think it's going to work really well.
I would agree with you that they are a great team. They're definitely top of the East. I think their starting five is a better starting five than the Bucks. And real quick, we'll go through the projected depth chart for the Bucks. It's Damian Lillard, Malik Beasley, Chris Middleton, Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez. I think the Celtics have a slight edge just because overall they're probably a little bit better. But I don't know how anyone's going to stop Damian Lillard and Giannis. I don't know how anyone stops that, especially with a shooting center in Brook Lopez. And I think they have a way better bench than the Celtics. They have Cameron Payne, Pat Connaughton, Jay Crowder, Bobby Portis, who Bobby Portis isn't great, but he's shown signs that he can do it. Connaughton has been projected to be in the starting lineup. I think Malik Beasley's going to beat him out. Jay Crowder, he's a solid role player. Cameron Payne, solid role player. I think their bench is better, and I don't think the Celtics can stop the Bucks. So
I do agree that their bench is significantly better.
Yeah.
The problem is, and this is where I'm a little skeptical on the Celtics, is if anyone's going to beat them, it's going to be the Bucks.
Yeah.
Because when they match up against each other, the Bucks will be able to defend the Celtics better than the other way around.
100%.
I don't know who's going to stop Giannis on the Celtics. I'm a little concerned about that. Horford's their best shot, and like you said, he's very old. So he won't be able to keep up with him.
No, he will not. And they're probably going to put Tatum on him sometimes, right? They'll probably do a switch-off sort of thing. Mm-hmm. We're projecting deep into the season, right?
Absolutely.
Tatum
a lot can happen.
Yeah, Tatum, Porzingis, and Horford are going to have the task of trying to contain him. I don't think Tatum's going to be able to do it. Horford's not going to be able to do it. I don't know about Porzingis. He's kind of the dark horse in this lineup that really is throwing me. He's shown that he can be amazing. He's shown that he can just kind of be average. If he steps up and, maybe not offensively, but defensively he puts up good numbers, gets involved in perimeter or rim protection, I think he'll be a great value to this team. That's the dark horse for me.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
So let's go to the Trailblazers aspect of this trade.
Okay.
They're building a nice team.
I can't say that yet. They have a lot of potential.
They have a lot of potential. Let's think about this. They got Scoot Henderson. They got Malcolm Brogdon. They got Anthony Simons.
I think it's Simmons.
I thought it was Simmons too, but it's definitely not spelled like that.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Shaedon Sharpe. Jeremy Grant, who's probably going to get traded, but for this exercise, let's just imagine him on the team.
Yeah.
Robert Williams, DeAndre Ayton.
It's not a bad team. They just don't have the star power to win, especially in the West.
I don't think they have the star power that's proven.
Yes, I agree with that.
Because I think they got a lot of talent. Shaedon Sharpe will be in the starting lineup this year. Anthony Simons will be coming off the bench. They have a nice rotation.
Crazy to me. I don't think he should be coming off the bench.
I don't think so either, but I think he likes it.
Maybe. Yeah, that's fair.
I think he likes coming off as like a six-man guy. Yeah. Robert Williams and DeAndre Ayton paired together?
Not bad.
Ayton's not a defender. Robert Williams is.
Yeah.
So
and
that might work well.
Ayton's saying that he's got a fire lit under him, so maybe he balls out this year. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
If that were true, I think you would have performed better last year in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree. The set has a high potential, and they have a lot of picks. that they can trade and get a superstar if this isn't really working this season. We'll see what happens. I'm not mad at their team. I don't think they're going to make playoffs in the West.
I don't think so either, but I think they've got a nice team where I don't think they're going to be a bottom feeder. I think they might compete for a play-in spot.
Maybe.
But as we've seen before, I shouldn't say that because the Heat did make a run. But
yeah.
I mean, when you get into the play-in, you're facing the best team in the West, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
But I mean, I kind of like what they're building.
Yeah.
Scoot Henderson, maybe.
Yeah. When the season gets a little closer, we'll go through some projections and see where we're at with that. Yeah.
I love that. All right. Well, let's move on to some football.
All right,
we're going to play a nice little game here. It's called Panic or Patience. So we're basically a quarter way through the season, and which is crazy because it's only been 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And some of these teams that we projected to be playoff contenders are struggling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go team by team. We're gonna play Panic or Patience. Should we be patient with the team, or are we starting to panic a little bit? So let's start with the Bengals, okay? Joe Burrow's had the injury. They haven't looked sharp. He can't throw the ball down the field. Their offense isn't electric like they expected. But their defense has played pretty well. So you panicking or are you a little patient with this team?
I'm panicking. I'm thinking you have Joe Burrow, one of the arguably top 5 quarterback in the league, based off of previous year performance. A great wide receiver core. I don't know why he's getting hit so much. They like we said in a previous episode, they've spent the money on the line. Why are they not performing the way they should? I'm panicking. You're 1-3 in a very tight division, tight conference. Like what needs to change? I don't know. They need to come up with some sort of answer. But if they don't go 500 in the next 3 to 5 games, they're out of playoffs in my eyes.
I agree. And I am also panicking. And it's not about the Joe Burrow injury. They didn't look good before he got injured.
True.
Again. So, they're just not getting the ball into their best offensive weapons' hands.
Yeah.
They are using, no offense to Tyler Boyd, he's a good receiver, but he's a wide receiver 3. Mm-hmm. They're using Tyler Boyd. They're using their tight ends, which is fine, but you're not getting the ball into Jamar Chase's hands. He's not as explosive this year. And as we heard from his press conference, he doesn't believe it's him. Yep, he's always open. So, Joe Burrow, get the ball to Jamar Chase. I think we're going to see an explosive game, but I don't know that it's going to help in this season. They just don't look it doesn't look like the chemistry's there.
No, I agree.
On the offense. Their defense has played very well and have kept them in every single game that they needed to.
Yeah.
But it's looking a little rough, and I'm panicking a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough for Cincy because they just signed Joe Burrow, right? One of the top-paid quarterbacks. Hopes were high because of the previous couple seasons, how well they did, and it kind of just crumbled. Don't know what happened, but I guess we'll find out how they perform in the next couple of weeks.
All right, let's move on to the Patriots. There was a little skepticism coming into the year.
Yeah.
That with a loaded division that they had, people were a little worried about the Patriots, but with Bill O'Brien coming in as the offensive coordinator, there was a lot of hope that he'd be able to develop Mac Jones. It hasn't really happened. Their offense looks terrible. Mac Jones got benched for Bailey Zappi. So where are we at with this team?
I'm still at patience level. Mac Jones coming in, like you said, a lot of question marks. He did get benched. I'm assuming they're going to ride that out and see how Zappi goes. But their schedule so far has been kind of rough. They had the Eagles opening game, the Dolphins, the Jets, which they won. No one was expecting them to win. And then they got clobbered by the Cowboys, which, again, is a top team. I'm still in patience mode. I think see if Bailey Zappi is an answer. I don't think he will be. I'm kind of losing hope for this team. But they're going to stay competitive, and they're going to be a middle-of-the-pack team, which is not what they need right now. They need to either boom or bust, and they're not going to do either. So I'm really worried about this team. I think about halfway through I'll start panicking, but as of right now, I have patience. They play the Saints, Raiders in the next 2 games. I think they could potentially win both those games.
Yeah, I I'm panicking. Hardcore panicking.
Okay.
They didn't address any wide receiver issues that they had, and we can all agree
That's
that
not true. They got Jrue.
Hey, yeah, I know, and I've been the firm believer his jersey's right there, but it's not it. I love Juju, I really do, but he's not a wide receiver 1.
You're right.
And if he's a wide receiver 2, he'll show out against the other corner, but he can't face the best corner on each team.
Agreed.
And this team just looks rough. Their defense is good. Their defense always will be good with Bill Belichick.
Yep.
But oh my God, they're just horrible on offense. They are not using Ramondre Stevenson like they did last year.
You're right. That's weird to me. They should they found so much success with him. Why are they not pushing him as much as they should?
I have no idea, and I have a feeling it's because of Bill O'Brien. Understandable, different offensive scheme, but obviously this offensive scheme's not working. So
switch it up.
let's revert back to what worked last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hardcore panicking. I really think that they should just tank, but Bill Belichick is not going to do that.
He's not going to tank. I also believe this will probably be his last season.
I agree with you.
And depending on who they get for their head coach next season, could be a big turnaround.
I completely agree.
We'll see what happens.
I have a feeling it's going to be a rebuild. I think everybody will completely understand. I think their fans will understand. Like it's time. It's time to rebuild.
Yeah.
It's been inevitable for the past few years.
Yeah,
so.
they've tried to drag it along as much as they can, but it needs to happen. They need to really switch it up now that Tom's officially out of the league.
All right, let's move on to the Jaguars. Not as bad, a 2-2 team, but there was a lot of high expectations for this team. Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked strong. Everybody expected Calvin Ridley to be a huge bounce back, comeback player of the year. Hasn't looked cohesive. He's dropped a lot of balls. Defense has looked pretty strong, but where are you at with this team?
I'm still in patient mode for them. They are 2-2. They lost to the Chiefs and the Texans, who have been doing a lot better than a lot of people thought, except for me. I'm just gonna say it. They lost to those two, and then they beat the Colts and the Falcons. They won the games they should have, except for maybe the Texans. Hindsight, probably not, but I'm not at panic mode yet. I think Trevor Lawrence needs to get his act together, and Calvin Ridley not performing at a high level is kind of putting a dampening on this team. They really needed him to come back like full force, and like you said, he's dropping balls, and he's their main guy, right? So Etienne is, I don't know how to say his last name, that's how I say it. He's looking okay, but when he's the sole driving force for this offense right now, he's going to get suffocated. Yeah, I'm not at panic mode yet. If they continue to win the games they should, they'll be close to a playoff spot. But I guess we'll see. Trevor Lawrence needs to tighten up his game. He may not go out and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but no interceptions, throw for 200 and a touchdown, and you're good. Just get the job done.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? I would expect this kind of like these mistakes if there was a new head coach.
True.
So like if this was last year's team, I would fully expect that. But this is the second year for Doug Peterson, and I didn't really think that they would struggle this much coming out of the gate. Agree. But yeah, he's getting better. They're slowly getting better. They played better against the Falcons, who actually have a decent defense, and I think they're going to pull it around. I'm just tampering down my expectations for this team now. I think they'll make playoffs. I think they'll win the division. I don't really expect them winning anything in the playoffs, though.
I agree. That's where I'm putting them too. They're make the playoffs and go home.
All right, let's move on to the Broncos.
Panic! 1-3.
Yeah, 1-3. Sean Payton's dreams of turning around the Broncos team look a little dim right now. The vibes are bad there. Russell Wilson is still cringy as hell. So you're in panic mode here?
Yeah, they just need to scrap the season and go home. Russell Wilson needs to be done. Sean Payton, go back to being a sports analyst. You don't need to be on the field anymore. They lost to the Commanders by 2. They lost to the Raiders by 1. The Dolphins by 50. And I commend them for beating the Bears because they shouldn't have. But in all reality, they should have. On paper, they're a better team. So they won by 3. Justin Fields and the Bears as a whole just kind of crapped the bed. They should be 0-4 right now. Russell Wilson needs to be done. He hasn't looked the same since a year before he left Seattle. So what? 3 years ago? Was that 3 years?
Yeah. Yep.
Since then, he's been downhill.
It's really interesting. And conspiracy theory time.
Oh, okay.
I think Sean Payton is tanking this team. I think he wanted to lose that game against Chicago.
Why?
I think he wanted the first round pick and Caleb Williams. I think he wants to completely rebuild this team. And I think that he's going to do that by completely tanking this season. Their offense looks okay. And that was what he needed to come up.
I don't even think their offense looks okay. I honestly
they're
don't
at least
think
scoring 20.
Barely, but yeah, I guess. That's fair.
Yeah, it still looks rough on offense, but it's at least coming together a little more. You can see it. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Sean Payton is developing something on offense. Their defense is pathetic.
Yeah, their defense should just stop showing up.
Might be the worst defense in the league. And that's with Pat Surtain, who is one of the best corners in the league. But he can only do so much. And
it's a team sport.
Yeah. And they're just struggling to get any sort of pressure on any quarterback.
Yeah.
And as you can hear from one of the offensive linemen after the Dolphins game, he was a little frustrated, and the vibes seemed to be down in that locker room.
Yeah, as it should have been. They got murdered. Right? Everyone should be upset after that game.
Yeah. So I expect a rebuild with a new quarterback.
Okay.
Going into next season.
I'm okay with that. And also, I want to bring up a conversation of an event that happened today, or maybe yesterday. There was a interview with, what's his face? Beast Mode. Why can't I think of his name?
Oh, Marshawn
Lynch and Shannon Sharp. I don't know where it was released at. I saw it on Twitter, X, whatever. Basically, him talking about his time there and his relationship with the coach and Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. And, of course, the decision that they made to pass it instead of run that game. And the way he was describing the end of that game, they decide to pass it, obviously throws an interception. They come off the field. Russell Wilson says, "I'll get him next time." Don't say that. Just don't say anything. And he goes up to Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll said something to him. I don't remember what it was. And he basically laughed in his face and then walked out of the stadium. He didn't even see the end of the game. And I think that says a lot about Russell Wilson. He also said in the interview that he's never been like homies with Russell Wilson. He would call him, for football stuff, but he was never like tight with him. And he doesn't want to sound like a hater, but it is kind of what it is. He actually had his number blocked at one point without him knowing it, something like that. I don't know. I think he may have been putting on a little bit of a lie for the media, but I think this says a lot about Russell Wilson in that he's quick to, put the blame on himself, which is good, but also you got to have a solution for it. You can't come off the field after throwing an interception to win the Super Bowl and say, "I'll get him next time." Like, there was no next time. That was it. That was the moment. You needed to tell coach, "Hey, we're not going to pass it. We're going to hand it to our top-tier running back who has gotten us this far, and we'll win the game." Like, I think that's Russell Wilson's issue at this point is he's just playing the game to play the game, and he's trying to win. But he needs to make tough decisions, and he's not making those decisions, and he's just going to ride with it.
So I did see this as well. And the way that you're describing it, it kind of feels like he's okay with how his legacy is.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, elite Hall of Fame quarterbacks,
they want to
always have that drive. Yeah, they want that next win. Like Tom Brady every single year. Yeah. Like, you celebrate for a day, and then the best one's the next one.
Yeah.
Like, that was his mentality going into every single season.
100%.
Wilson's fine. He's fine with where he's at. He got his money, and his priorities really aren't in football.
Yeah.
He's someone who cares a lot about his health, and like he's okay with just riding the wave, and he doesn't need that drive to win another Super Bowl.
I like that take. That's exactly what it feels like.
So it's a little concerning, and I think Sean Payton knows that. And I think that's why I'm, this conspiracy theory. I think they're taking.
We're putting it out into the world. Let's see if it's true. If they lose against, who else do they play this year that they probably shouldn't lose to? Honestly, I don't think they're going to win another game. The Raiders and maybe the Patriots. Those are the only 2 games I think they might win.
I think the Patriots at least have a drive to win.
I agree. I'm not saying they're going to win. I think that's the only chance. They're going to be playing the Chargers twice, the Lions, the Texans, the Browns, the Vikings. Maybe they beat the Vikings. I don't know. The Bills, the Chiefs, the Packers, the Chiefs again, the Jets.
Yeah,
maybe the Jets. I don't know.
Depends how the season's going.
Yeah,
I mean Zach Wilson looked like a better quarterback than Russell Wilson.
Exactly.
This past game.
I think you might be right. They might be tanking.
All right. Well, let's move on to the final one. You mentioned them. They play the Broncos twice this year. It's the Chargers. They're sitting at 2-2. They've had a couple bounce back games. They started 0-2. It was a little rough. They went into Minneapolis, took one from the Vikings, and beat the Raiders this last week, but it wasn't convincing.
No, it was not.
So where are you at with this team?
I'm at panic mode with them because they should be pushing for a Super Bowl. This should be a Super Bowl year for them, and it's not going to be. They look okay on offense, not great, and they aren't doing great on defense. Justin Herbert is playing okay. It's just they're okay. That's what it is. They're just playing okay. I get that Austin Eckler's out, so the run game's a little stuffed. And I know they switched up their game plan and started airing the ball out more, which is good. I guess they got to double down on that, and hopefully they get some more wins. I think the Vikings win was whatever. The Vikings don't seem great, and it was close. And then the Raiders, they probably should have beat anyways. So losing to the Titans, and then, of course, the Dolphins, whatever. They actually kept it close to the Dolphins, but they just seem okay. They don't seem like an elite team that they should be on paper. They should be a top-tier team. They have the wide receivers. They have the quarterback. Their defense on paper isn't bad. I don't know what they're missing.
So it's weird, right? They have a new offensive coordinator. They're working it out. But their offense hasn't been the problem. They've been scoring points.
Yeah, they've been okay on offense.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Their defense, which they put a ton of money into, looks rough. Like they have a ton of star power though. They should be so much better. And they're just not. Like, Khalil Mack coming off the edge. Joey Bosa.
Although Khalil Mack did have a great game against the Raiders.
He did.
So hopefully that's
like 5?
Yeah, I think 5 or 6.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. It was almost. I think 7's the record for a single game. So he was almost there.
Okay. But yeah, like their offense is putting together a nice team. Like, Keenan Allen's been balling out. Austin Eckler's been hurt, and they're still scoring quite a few points. I mean, they scored at least 24 in all their games.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
their
that's
defense is limited. The Cowboys to 17, Vikings to 24, Titans to 27, Dolphins to 36, which, could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I'm looking at. So I didn't really realize this till I'm looking at their, like who they've played so far.
Yeah,
they haven't lost by more than a touchdown.
Yeah, they're okay, but I'm still in panic mode for them. They need to win those games.
You're right. I mean, it's close games that they need to win. Yeah. I'm still in patience mode. I'm still a little optimistic about this team. Brandon Staley is a horrible coach, and I will say that till the day I die. But he's holding this team back.
I agree.
But I think talent will trump that this year. I'm still optimistic about this team. I still think that they can win the division.
See, this is how I felt with the Lions like 5-6 years ago. Like, oh, we're still optimistic, and then they, go middle of the pack. It's like they can't be middle of the pack right now. The Lions couldn't be middle of the pack then. They needed to win that playoff game, but they didn't. So it's like, what do we do?
So is Herbert the new Stafford?
No, I think Herbert's
all the talent in the world.
Herbert is. Hear me out. Herbert will be at the end of his career better than Stafford. I think Stafford gets bailed out by game plan and his big
Stat
arm.
padding. Stat padding.
Like throwing it to Megatron the first 10 years of your career, or however many years, I don't know. That helps. Yeah, that helps a lot.
I like the take, though. I like Herbert. I think he's going to get a little bit of stat padding this year, too, just with a bad defense. But with Kellen Moore, I think they're going to have a good combination. I'm really optimistic about their offense.
Okay. Well, I'm still in panic mode. You're in patience. We'll see how it is. Again, I think they're an okay team. It's just, can they win the close games? That's going to be the difference.
It's true. They need to pull out a nice win that's close.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to college football week 6.
Let's go.
We're going to start this week by first going over our records. So,
okay.
I had it was a little rough this week for the guys here. We had, we got some misinformation from Nick saying that the Utah is a straight wagon, and that
wagon broke down.
The wagon broke down. The wheel fell off. A beaver chewed the wood. So
honestly,
that was a tough loss for all of us. But we got to go over our records. I went 2-3 this last week, so that brings my record to 18-13 on the year. Justin also went 2-3.
Yep.
He's 17-14. Nick went 3-2. He's at a solid, nice 9-7. And Josh also went 2-3 with the rest of us, who's sitting at 6-10. The only guy under 500 here.
Yes,
but he's gonna turn around this week.
1,000%. Hopefully.
All right. Let's start with the Red River rivalry that is number 12 Oklahoma at number 3 Texas. Texas is a 6.5-point favorite. This is in Austin.
I'm going Texas. I can't. It's 6.5. That's what's tough, right? I think they're going to win by a touchdown. I gotta go Texas. So at least a touchdown. I think they might win by more, to be honest. I think Oklahoma's a good team, but I think Texas is on another level. So at least a touchdown. I'm picking Texas.
I like that. Texas has played the tougher schedule so far this year as well.
Yep.
To ranked opponents. Oklahoma really hasn't faced that this year. I actually think that if Cincinnati had a better quarterback, I think they would have lost that game this year, which doesn't bode well for this team going up against a Texas defensive line that's very similar to Cincinnati's. So yeah, I got Texas. I think they win. I think they win by 10.
Oh wow, okay.
Quinn Ewers balls out. This is his resume game.
Oh man, is it going to be high scoring or no?
I think it's going to be big plays.
Okay.
Like, pick 6 here. Yeah, like big plays.
Okay, I like it.
All right. I forgot to go to Nick and Josh. This is the struggle, Nick and Josh both have Texas on this line. That's a little scary. This is how we started last time. We started out with that Utah sweep, and it didn't go well for us.
All right. Are we going for a second team sweep for the second game?
I hope so. All right. We got Maryland at number 4, Ohio State. Ohio State's favored by 20 here. Who you got?
Man, I'm going to have to go Ohio State. I don't think Maryland's going to hold a candle to them. I think it's going to be at least 3 touchdowns. I think it's going to be more like 5. I think they're going to beat the brakes off them because they need to make a statement.
Whoo!
They need to make a statement.
Whoo! All right. Well, we're first going to go to Josh and Nick's picks. So they're on board with you. They're on board with that, that 3 touchdown victory. Okay. I'm not.
Okay.
Maryland, the last 2 years that they've played Ohio State, have kept it close. Tagovailoa, Tua's brother, is the quarterback. He is very experienced in the Maryland offense. He's kept the team afloat this year. They're 5-0. I think they keep it close. I think in the end, Ohio State probably wins by like 2 touchdowns. They pull away late, but I think they keep it close, and I have Maryland this week.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
All right, number 23, LSU, at number 21, Missouri. LSU is a 5.5-point favorite going into Columbia, into Missouri, into that Kool-Aid, Missouri. The thicker kicker, made that 61-yard
God.
field goal.
Forgot about that.
I'm the one that called that out. I said Missouri. It felt good. Who you got this week?
I'm thinking I gotta go Missouri again. I 5.5 isn't much, right? I think Missouri might win outright, but they'll definitely keep it within 3.
I love that. This feels disrespectful to Missouri.
I agree. I agree. It is disrespectful.
LSU's defense looks horrible. The 2 ranked opponents that they've faced, Ole Miss and Florida State, have destroyed them.
Yep.
Offensively. And Missouri's got a good offense. They have one that can keep up with LSU's. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I expect big numbers here, and I like Missouri to win the game outright.
All right. And then what we got from Josh and Nick?
Josh has Missouri. He's
Okay.
on board with me.
We got 3 Missouri.
Nick's with you on LSU, so then we are.
I'm not on LSU.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You did say that. Yep, you said Missouri. You were
I
going to
think
keep it
Missouri's
close.
win outright. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Yeah, Nick's got LSU, so he's the one that's saving us this week.
All right. He's the lone wolf. Love that.
All right. Next, we got number 20 Kentucky. At number 1 Georgia. Georgia looked a little shaky last week. Auburn kept it close.
It was nothing.
Nothing. So I'm guessing you got Georgia?
I have Georgia. I think they're. You're right. It was a little shaky. I think it's a great rivalry, so maybe that was why. And I think Georgia has, like I said with Ohio State, Georgia's coming back and they're making a statement. They're proving why they're number 1. A lot of people thought they shouldn't be number 1 this week, and they're going to make it known across the country they're the team to beat still. They're going to beat the brakes off of Kentucky. I think 15 is generous.
All right. I'm on board with you.
right.
Georgia is the only ranked team who has not covered the spread this year. This is
right.
the week that they do it. I think they make a statement victory this week. I think you're right. I've got them big over Kentucky.
You said that about Michigan last week, and you got that right, too, so I like that.
You're right. Josh and Nick do not agree with us. They have Kentucky keeping it close.
Okay.
I think they're a little concerned about Georgia.
I'm not concerned. I think they are top dogs still. I can't.
I
I
like
can't
that.
imagine.
Bulldogs.
Yeah, I can't imagine a team beating them, especially Kentucky. If it's going to be anyone, it's going to be OSU or Michigan. Those are my 2 teams to beat Georgia.
Okay. I like it. All right. Finally, we have number 10 Notre Dame at number 25 Louisville. Louisville's ranked for the first time this year. They're sitting at a nice, crisp, cool 5-0. We all know the story about Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a 6.5-point favorite going into Louisville.
Yeah, Notre Dame's winning by a lot. I think Louisville, they got the taste of top 25. They're leaving it this week. I think Notre Dame, losing that tough game to Ohio State, they need to go. They need to win every game out from here on out. So this is a must-win game for them. And what was it, 5.5 you said?
6.5.
6.5? Yeah. A touchdown? Yeah. I think they can win by a touchdown.
Yeah, I think the home field advantage helps Louisville a little bit, but I've never heard of Louisville being really rowdy at home.
Yeah.
And I honestly think there's going to be a lot of Notre Dame fans there.
Yeah, I agree.
So this doesn't feel like a true home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that number's a little low. I got Notre Dame big, 21
Okay.
big.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, I got Notre Dame big here.
All right.
Nick and Josh also have Notre Dame,
It's a sweep.
but we had the sweep last week with Notre Dame and Duke, and it worked out. It's fine. Notre Dame's that wagon for us.
Yes, they are. Although
The
we
wheel's
split, I think
not
we
gonna-
split it on Ohio State, didn't we?
We did.
I know I said Notre Dame. I think you said Notre Dame. I don't know if the other 2 did.
I thought they all did. I thought we all did, and we covered it. They
Man,
covered
we're
it.
kind of killing. Notre Dame's helping us.
They're just covering, They're doing what they need to do.
100%. I love it.
All right.
Some final thoughts?
Sure. I like it.
All right.
I can
I'll
go first if you want me to.
Yeah, go first.
All right. We got to talk about Brock Purdy here.
Oh, I like it.
I can't believe what this man has done. Okay. He has been truly remarkable. in games that he's started, that does not count the game where he got hurt and had to leave the game against the Eagles. He has not lost. He has won every single game. Yes, I understand. He has an amazing team around him. But, oh my God, the swagger that he has just is enlightening, okay? It just feels great. That guy, as Mr. Irrelevant, had no reputation behind him. He played at an Iowa State team that was good in college, but not great. He comes into the league and sets the world on fire. Honestly, right now, they look like the strongest team.
I agree.
And I don't think he hurts the team here. I think he's the reason why they're winning.
He is like the definition to me of get the job done, right? He's not the main focus of this team. Obviously, all their other weapons are there, but he's getting the ball to those weapons. So, he's getting what he needs to do done. And obviously, having a stellar defense helps. Having a stellar offensive line, it helps. Having Christian McCaffrey do anything and everything you ask him to do. Like, what else do you want out of this team? So, he's in an amazing situation, but I agree. I'm very excited for him. I think 49ers made the right pick in having him start. Hopefully he doesn't get injured, and we can see him go the rest of the season, see what he can do.
Yeah, that's the hope, man, because the 49ers have just suffered with quarterback injuries over the years.
Yeah. Have you seen on Twitter his recent statement about his rent?
Yes, I did. I did. That he's still splitting it.
He's splitting rent with a roommate right now. It's like, that is tough, man. You are a decent quarterback on one of the top teams in the NFL, and you have to have a roommate to pay.
Oh man, that's horrible. But you know what's good? You know what's good for him, right? Is since he's not a first round pick, he doesn't have that 5th-year option. I don't even think he has 4 years on his contract. I think it's 3. So his contract comes a lot sooner than everyone else's. So he's going to get paid a little quicker than the rest of his draft class.
All right. That's fair. That's good for him. Good news for him. All right, you want to go into mine real fast?
Yep,
let's do it. Nothing deep. I think it came out officially today that because of Udonis Haslam's retirement from last season, LeBron James is now the oldest active player in the NBA.
That's crazy.
He is entering his 21st season. And I would still argue he's a top 25 player.
Oh, absolutely. Anyone who doesn't
insane.
Anyone who doesn't put him in their top 25 is honestly just probably someone that doesn't really like him. Just doesn't like socially, because I mean he's still one of the top 25 players in the league. He's probably still top 10.
Yeah. The only concern is his injury.
He's had some injury history lately.
Yeah. So if he can stay relatively healthy, make it to playoffs, I think the Lakers are doing well, and it would be exciting to see him potentially win a championship as the oldest player in the league right now. And I think he's going to go another 2-3 years.
Maybe.
I saw a video of him when they told him, he reacted and he went and he threw down a nasty dunk. I was like, oh man, that's disgusting.
It's amazing too, because I think we all pretty much know that he's going to become the highest scorer in the league in league history this year. That's going to be the chase.
He did last year, didn't he?
No, he's still chasing Kareem, right?
No, he passed Kareem. Cross, where were you last season? He passed Kareem.
Apparently, I don't know. Are you sure?
LeBron's the top scorer. Let me look. All
right. I'm going to sound like an idiot out here now.
Yeah, it's LeBron. He's at 38,652.
Where was I last season?
I believe. Wait, let me check. 38 star pass Kareem in career points on Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I missed that.
We talked about it, man.
We might have.
But let me. I know we're kind of going off topic here. I saw this the other day. There is a player. He's never played in the NBA. I think it's all Euro League. His name is Oscar Schmidt. He's considered the greatest player to never play in the NBA. He has scored 49,737 points in his career. So now everyone's saying LeBron needs to pass that. He needs to get 49.
Not pass that.
I agree.
He's not scoring that many.
But time out. He's currently at 47, 734 in his whole career, not just regular season. So that's
Gotcha.
including
So
playoffs.
including playoffs. Oh, he'll pass that. He can pass that.
If he averages 28.9 points this season,
He'll pass it this year.
it would take him 70 games to pass it.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to do that. He's going to be. This year's not going to be his last year.
I agree. So if he passes that, he's going to be the all-time leading scorer of professional basketball ever.
So does that include, the Big Three, basketball tournament?
I believe so.
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe he goes and plays the Big Three. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he ends up scoring like 100,000 points by the end of his. Just
Plays until he's 70.
Yeah, all these smaller leagues, he just keeps playing. He plays in like an old retirement league or whatever. That'd be crazy.
Oh, man. All right. That's all we got for you this week.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out our Instagram. We'll post all of our picks for this next coming week. And we'll have our records up there too.
Yeah.
Make sure you throw down some bets, follow us on this wagon.
Whoa, okay, we're putting money down. Yeah, if you like the podcast, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share with your friends, and we will see you hopefully on Sunday. That's the plan. If not, we will definitely see you next Thursday. And that is it.
All right. See you guys next week.
Peace.